Well, we're still in the lobby, so.
Okay, go. Right, you and
Right, good evening everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Race of Pace. Welcome to round 2 of the Race of Pace. It's the second time we're having this this event. First time we had it was a couple of months back in Brazil, and it was a brilliant race. Having another go at it. We're obviously here in Q1. I'm obviously joined by a more familiar voice, I think, to everyone who tunes into midweek racing on a weekly basis. I'm joined by Captain Ice, or as you know him, Johan. How's it going?
Johnny! Hello everybody and welcome. As Jonathan said, second time round, looking forward to this one. And a couple of big names here as well again tonight.
Obviously the Race of Pace, it's an interesting evening. So basically in the round 2 we have taken 5 of the quickest drivers from 4 different South African F1 leagues, namely Turbos and Bullets, which takes place on a Friday night, Midweek Racing, which takes place on a Tuesday night, SAA OLR, which takes place on a Monday night, and then Full Throttle Racing, which unfortunately I don't have enough information about to
I also only heard about him really today.
I am familiar with some of the names in that Full Throttle lineup. Or 2 of them on the 5 lappers that we hosted on Friday night, and they are quick. Another guy I saw on Friday night, that I'm Y Alonso, another quick driver. So a lot of interesting names, obviously taken from 4 different leagues and brought together on one night to see who can take final bragging rights. Currently riding on track with Divan. There will be no teams tonight as far as I understand it. Everybody's simply just driving for themselves, no...
Own car, own liveries, no matching of liveries tonight, correct? And a couple of guys already, lots of chat already, 22 people watching and a couple of comments. And of course I see there Muna, so hello there Munes. Just giving a shout out there to the commentators. And of course, as a shout out to all of those guys watching, thank you so much for the support. And as always, feel free to post your comments there and be part of the chat.
Obviously now we're in the early stages, we're in Q1, no one has set a lap time just yet. We will soon see those first lap times coming over the board and setting a benchmark. I don't think we'll see everything from the drivers just yet. But there are crucially 20 drivers out in session 1, so we will lose 5. You need to go out, you need to set a lap time, you don't want to start at the back. Or maybe you do.
I've seen enough this season, of course, yes, the TNB do 100%, where the other guys, of course, I believe the fourth one also, they all do 50%, but being at 100, being at 50%, starting at the back is not necessarily the worst possible place, because the last race of the season where TNB, we had Vino that's here tonight, actually start last place on the grid, and he all came all the way through to win it. I mean, there was Muna as well previously, all the way from the back, made it to podium. A couple of these guys actually did it, and even in the 50% distance. So I'm going to say it, I've said it before, the guys there from midweek also know it. Starting last is not necessarily the worst possible place to be.
See, we're up to 25 people watching on the YouTube channel. Really great support considering it's only minutes into Q1. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, it really helps the channel. And post your comments, post your predictions for pole position, interact with the commentators, and we'll do our best not to get overexcited in the race and forget about the comment section.
Support there, Manu Didrich also coming out, just showing his support, good support turnout here for the FTR boys.
First couple of laps now starting to show up on your screen. For now, Vino for real, he has the fastest lap time, that's at 1:44.1. Relatively quick from the get-go. IMY Alonso, he's in second, Mac at third, not Kimi fourth. Then Divan in fifth, Strider in sixth.
Of course, this is just to make it through to the next round. Of course, slowest 5 guys will be eliminated, so it's just to get a good lap in to make sure you survive, make it through to the next session. But yeah, some good lap times already. Not Kimi just pulling over there, of course, for the faster car to come through. Still supporting his livery, I see there, from Not Sober Racing.
Now, a lot of the guys holding on to their multiplayer liveries. Obviously TNB ran under multiplayer liveries last season and that just ended on Friday, so some of them haven't had the time to return to the game and be creative. So you'll just see some TNB teams going around the circuit.
Springbok Gamer also
already.
Springbok Gamer's got his livery as well, which still looks, I say, look like it reminds a lot of a Protea Pink Day Skipper.
See now 12 of your, make that 13 of your 20 drivers have set a lap time. Still 7 drivers need to go out there and set a lap time. Objective in Q1 is a simple one.
Gapik is an outlap.
5.
We got Zadi still in the pits, RJ Divina also on an outlap, but I see Quentin Zede has retired. Quentin Zede is out, so that will be our first elimination from this session. So 4 more guys, of course, to join him as the bottom 5, as I said, will be eliminated at the end of this session.
I'm not quite sure what Muna is doing in the comment section. He always finds a way to miss the biggest events. He's either having no internet or finding himself somewhere in the northwest province.
Some sort of, if it's not work, it's internet. And of course, this time around, internet out of his hands. You have to wait for the service provider to do his part. Recently moved, so unfortunately that is one of the challenges that comes with that. And your fate is unfortunately in their hands. Springbok Gamer 13th, 146.3. That lap from Conor Young, surely that he's going to go out again, because that's not a good lap, if I can say it like that, especially if you look at the rest of the guys. I mean, from 1 to 8, 144s.
If anyone in the
There goes
comment
Macket.
section is able to confirm what happened to Quinton. Please let me know. I see his name is grayed out, and he apparently did one lap on a set of socks and never set a lap time.
And there's a lap time. Meantime,
So,
what I, as
not
you,
sure
sorry,
what that is about.
Macket, I just want to say Macket went faster, so 143.8.
We spoke about very briefly during the practice session a pole position prediction, and while the driver I asked wouldn't specify or nail down any sort of number, he said pole would definitely be a 43. But if they're hitting a 43.8 very early in Q1,
And Q1 already.
I think more is to come, and I think we'll only see all of it in Q3. Obviously, Q2 is going to be an interesting one. Tires you qualify on, you will have to start with. But in this session, your objective is to stay out of the bottom 5. That bottom 5 currently: Connor Young, Gavvig,
143.6,
and RZDV 2000. Duxter 143.6.
We're getting to the mid 143s now, and I mean it's still only Q1.
Just gonna say the prediction was a 143. If we're already in the mid 43s, I think we're gonna see
a high 142 perhaps? Or was that maybe too much of an ask?
Maybe a mid 42.
Chin picking up Chin, happy birthday Gav.
42.5 or something like that. There we go. Happy birthday, Gavin. If you're listening, you're getting a whole bunch of happy birthdays there in the comment section. Didn't know it was your birthday, but I should have known better.
Whoa! Big moment for Emi Alonso out of a route, but he managed to keep it out of the barriers. It doesn't look like any damage. Doesn't look like front wind's also intact.
Unless you're seriously lacking in the practice department, here in Q1, you really want to go out there, set a lap time that's going to be good enough to keep you in the top 15, and really just, you don't want to go out there and risk it.
Oh wow, so apple green, candy green, and a pink helmet. That, oh wow, yeah, the Gav pick.
Gavin, yes, he's got a neon green bright car, so no excuses for not seeing him in your mirrors. And then the pink helmet.
Yeah.
Obviously he will be pretty unmistakable in your mirrors, and obviously then
probably
the race number 2, I believe, on his car.
Probably the national colours of Ghana.
I'm not sure there's that much green in the flag, but I think he just got a bit carried away.
Thank you so much, Quinton. Quinton actually looking at watching the stream. Quinton just answering your question of earlier, what happened. Quinton just saying he retired because while he was on track, he arrived at the last corner and someone was just parked on the racing line, and he had to go off the track to try and avoid, obviously, and then ended up crashing anyway.
Unfortunate for Quinton. He becomes the first retirement in qualifying. Obviously he'll still get an opportunity to take part in the race, but he's going to start from 20th position unless anyone gets a
and Kimi now retires. Yeah, Kimi lost it, and that's a very peculiar spot. Very seldom you see someone retire there. Of course, you can see on the mini map there, just that little yellow section there.
Kimi has obviously lost control of the car. He's out of the session. Another driver
just there, as you can see, Force goes past him.
Quinton retired first, so obviously Quinton will start in 20th, where Kimi will start in 19th, but he will not take part in this session any longer. Will not go to Q2. It's already a big name missing from that potential Q3 top 10 shootout.
Two big names, because both of these guys actually have pace. Of course, knowing from midweek racing and doing T&B commentary as well, both in the respective leagues, both of these guys are fast. So yeah, it's actually two big scalps claimed there out of qualifying. But of course, it doesn't mean it's all over. It's just going to take a little bit more work for them, harder work to fight back. But it's still very much possible.
Obviously, when you've got 20 extremely fast drivers on the track at the same time, you're probably going to have 5 names you didn't expect it in that bottom 5, because they wouldn't be in the bottom 5 in any other situation.
Hey, and daar's Matre ook. Hello Matre.
Of course,
And more Raider. Nice to see the guys coming out supporting the fellow drivers.
Another thing to mention, that green car number 2, that is the Gav Pig.
The pig.
The last time TNB, he's obviously representing TNB tonight. He's a TNB driver, one of the 5. And the last time TNB visited this very circuit, he was the man on pole. He unfortunately bottled it on lap 1 going up by Rouge, but definitely someone to watch in qualifying, because I think when it comes to 1 lap pace here in Belgium, he's got this track figured out. His teammate at TNB in the previous season was 13, just ahead of him in 6th place. Not much of a gap between the two. 2/10 was 1.5 tenths.
Conor Young is actually now back on pace. He's also in the 144s now, and still just Dukester and Mackett in the 143s for now.
Villarreal, he is back out on circuit, looking to improve that lap time. Now going through sector 1 of Rouge, nice and clean. Going to be a very interesting corner come lap 1. Fino, the only man in your top 5 currently out on circuit. Man in 6th place, also out on circuit. Don't feel there's any need to improve on that lap time just yet. I think maybe take those tyres, use them in Q2. You want to use all your sets right now.
They've done enough to make it through, definitely, because I won't risk it at this stage if I were one of those drivers.
Of course, exit the Rouge and does not activate DRS, so that gives me the indication that he's not
pushing, correct.
Pushing that at all. Let's have a look at Mina for real, currently in 3rd. He's in sector 2. Currently 2/10 slower than his previous best in sector 2. Throw everything at sector 3, see if he can improve on this lap time. If he's going to go faster than 3rd, he's going to have to find a minimum of 3/10 of a second. If he wants to take pole position, he's going to have to find half a second. That'll be provisional pole, but instead he comes into the pit lane, calls it a day, and 3rd in Q1 is more than enough for him. Those things stand 2 minutes remaining, and those 5 names, Quinton retired, the other 4 all out on track, looking for time.
Now Kimi will still also drop into that bottom 5 for Kinaen, probably being promoted as it stands now.
Regardless if he qualifies in that 15th spot, he doesn't have a car to drive with, so
correct.
Whoever qualifies 16 will then go through to Q2 if the game works the way it should.
Yes, we've seen strange things before, so please people don't hold us to that, because I've seen it before where someone supposedly should not go through to the next session, and when we get there they are actually in that session. So yeah, so we just see what happens. So a couple of representations here. I see actually like Vino's car has a strong resemblance to a Ferrari. Riding here with Zadi 44 reminds a lot of a Merc. The color scheme, the way it's put together. So yeah, some of the guys obviously have a favorite teams that they support. And I just want to actually say...
Don't have any heart attacks, guys retiring, so names will be going grey. Those aren't real DNFs.
No, it's end of a session, they're done.
Just confirming that they have done all they can with this session.
I just want to do here quickly, I see, there we go, there's one of my regulars. Hello Yvette, hoop het gaan goed en dankie vir die support. Ek sien Nismax het sy hande vol met die support, lekker om te sien. And I just want to answer Muna as well. Muna asking a question here to Noah Raider, why not racing? Muna, I have a question for you in return to that. Why no internet?
Well, we know why he's not racing, so let's just ask him why he hasn't sorted out the internet. So that seems to be the end of Q1. I don't think we're
pretty
going to see
much.
any more action on track, any more changes in the
One or two
lineup.
guys. The Pig is out there. I think he's the only one now. Springbok Game is also out there. Tinan as well. RZDV is actually going to be one of the guys being eliminated. Eugene is as well. So one more spot. So it's pretty much at the bottom. Springbok Gamer and Tinan. Because at the end of the day, between those two, there can be a possible promotion. No, actually not, unless the RZDV probably might be promoted with Kimi retiring.
Well, I think the important spot is with Kimi retired, they want to grab that 16th spot because that might just take them through. So if he can find a 10th of a second, he can go quicker than RZDV. In ahead on track as a Springbok Gamer. Both them very similar lap time. Springbok Gamer.
Springbok Gamer is in the pit, so that is confirmed. Yeah, Tina following. So RZDV with a possibility of making it through with not Kimi out, of course.
See, there's Kimi has dropped to. No, he is 15. So RZDV might just make it.
Let's see.
We'll have to see what the game works out for us on that one. The game's not.
Just waiting for a few guys here to retire so we can get to the next session. Just a comment there from Jock. Of course, Jock Nell just saying there it's a nice gesture bringing the leagues together like this. Of course, guys knowing each other, and it's good to see for South Africa. Jock, yeah, it is, and it's actually the second installment. A few months ago we've done the same. At that stage it was just the 3 leagues, but of course tonight is actually 4 leagues now. 5 drivers from each league representing their respective leagues. So with this being the second, I think it's definitely safe to say there will be probably future race of pace. And it's normally at the end of season, because each league has got its own season. And at the end of when each of those leagues seasons end, then this pretty much is there. So I'm sure we're going to see more installments of this going forward.
Just want to go through the results here of Q1 really quickly before they disappear off the screen. Obviously Duxter, he was fastest with a 1:43.6 and was able to keep it fastest till the end of the session. Mackett with that early time of 1:43.8, he left it at that. Second was good enough. Then Vino in third, Zadi 44 in fourth, Amway Alonso fifth. My screen has just disappeared. Connor Young in 6th, Forst in 7th, Gavin in 8th, Lee van Rooyen in 9th, then you've got Boinkies in 10th, Barry's in 11th, Devon in 12th, Strider in 13th, and Nismax in 14th.
And RZDV did not get promoted. It's only 14 cars and not the usual 15.
So RZDV did get eliminated, and we are only going to have the 14 cars. That means at the end of Q2 we will lose only 4 cars, then we will have our 10 car shootout for Q3. Obviously it's an important session. It's all about the tyre you want to start the race on.
And getting a good enough lap as well at the same time to make it through to the next session where you can put on the softs again and really push for that pole, or, you know, to be up front.
For anyone who is concerned that silly things may come into the race and mess up the strategies of the guys, who can confirm that the race of pace in its current format, we do switch off the safety car, so don't need to worry about the safety car coming out and just gathering everybody up together every couple of laps, and then obviously the weather is set to clear, so don't expect any rainfall in Belgium, so it should be a straightforward race of pace. I suppose that's why it's called the race of pace. Nothing too technical. No rain, no safety car, so you can work out your strategy now. Think what tyre you want to start on, what is the plan. Go deeper into the race. Are you going to be aggressive at the start? Throw on the softs. We'll all see in the next 13 minutes.
13 minutes, yeah.
No times just yet. Screens are blank, but lots of track activity. 7 cars out on track from
four guys so far with different strategies.
bring up some info on the screen here so I can see what everyone's doing. Let's bring up. Have a look here.
Must say,
See
the
what
guys love a pink with
tires.
a multiplayer car. That's actually the one color that comes up commonly compared to red. If you look at the multiplayer car liveries.
It's difficult to go for red, you know. It's always going to look like a
Ferrari.
It's going to sort of look like a Ferrari. So,
Yeah.
and, obviously the bright colors can eliminate excuses of, oh, I didn't see you. Because it's like, really? Look at me.
Oh well, Paris actually that is something completely different. Green, red and black mixed together in a livery. Now there's something unique.
That looks fantastic. It's something different. We haven't seen anything like that. Green writing coming off the black background.
And an orange helmet, just for some good measure.
That's right. Orange helmet.
Nicely
McLaren
done.
Papaya.
Some original
Van
stuff
Rooyen,
here.
he's still in the pits. Gavin, he's on an outlap. Zardi 44, Connor Young, they're on quick laps. They've just started their quick laps. Zardi's on his way up Eau Rouge for the first time in Q2. We have a good mix here. I think what's that? Let me see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 guys so far on the softs. The remainder of the guys, they're on mediums. 9 versus 4 for the time, so that will change.
See, Divan also went with red and black and some green writing there, so just supporting his friend there, if I can put it like that. So the red and the black and then the green. Something unique. Not the usual red and stuff. Mac at 144.0 to start this, but of course we all know that's going to be much faster as we progress.
We've seen them quicker in Q1, so those lap times will definitely come down. My prediction was slightly insane. It was what, a 142.5? I'm gonna stick with it. And,
whoa, that's a bit tough.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with a 142.5, and if no one gets it, I'm not gonna blame it on the ridiculousness of my guess. I'll just blame it on the lack of ability. Yes.
No, but you know what? I won't be surprised if it
there on
is
the comment
achieved.
section. Go TNB from Robert de Villiers. He's supposed to be in the race. Get
I think
hope
he's
you're getting
Jeff to add
yourself
some other thoughts.
getting yourself comfortable, getting yourself ready for the 50% race that is ahead. Obviously 22 laps around Belgium.
Oh wow.
Around Spa.
That full throttle perhaps decide to have some sort of you know, if it comes to the liveries, some way of looking the same. Because I see Lee also have black, red and green in his livery. Of course each one looks different, it's not exactly the same, it's just the color is actually the same colors used. And of course helmets are different colors.
A lot of similarities there. Wonder if they did get together in their off time and come up with that one. Let's see, maybe it would be a good thing to spray your car red. See the most constructors' victories at this circuit. That is by way of Ferrari.
Oh, this probably red.
They've won 18 Belgian Grand Prix.
And looks like Vino's knew that, because Vino actually have a car that looks just like a Ferrari if you look at it coming down the straight.
If you're wondering what was the pole position lap. Oh well. Wow, okay.
Yellow flag, but that's probably just a car slowing again.
I love how that worked out. Last year's pole position lap, Charles Leclerc for Ferrari, a 142.519.
Ah, you called it.
Love it. Love it. Can they match the actual pace, the 142.5s? That's what they did here in F1 in the 2019 season. Season which this game is obviously based. Roy now up Eau Rouge.
Yep. But of course, I saw a couple of guys here at TNB earlier in the season, where the pole laps they did was actually quicker than what the guys did in real life last season. So that's just proving again it is possible to go fast or somewhat the same. Some of these guys have a pace to do it, so don't rule that out. So that is definitely likely. Look, it's going to be a tough ask, but it's not impossible.
142.5 would be a bit of a stretch, but you know, when I think everybody empties out all their pockets in Q3 and gives it everything they have, we might just see it. But we'll have to wait and see. For 142 might just be a little bit of a stretch. For the time being, a 144.0, that's enough for first place here in Q2.
Oh, yes.
Mackett, 10th of a second separates him in second place. Amway Alonso 144.1. Then Zardi also 144.4. Dubon a 144.6. Boinkies in fifth, 144.8. So your top 5, all in the 144s. Connor Young currently in 6th, Barry's in 7th, Duxter in 8th. And we still have 6 cars yet to get out on track and set a lap time. One of those cars is the gap pick.
He's on an outlap. The guys there at the bottom is all on hot laps as it is.
He's on an outlap in his bright green car.
Force coming around
the
now.
last time, like I said, last time TNB
Force
had a race here in Belgium.
144.3.
That was your pole sitter.
Strider. No, he's just going up, approaching that first sector time. Oh, and it's a purple first sector.
4.
Strider, sir. Currently running 13th on a set of mediums. Nesmax coming around now.
Right on board with him.
144.5.
Right on board with Strider now in sector 2, well into sector 2. So he had a good time in sector 1. See if he can stitch a good lap time together on the set of mediums. And obviously that would be his strategy going into the race, probably looking to go a little bit longer than everybody else, but a little bit 2 laps later.
Of course, the whole thing here is just that when you start the race, you just hope for a clean getaway, because the last thing you want is to have to make an early stop for a wing replacement, because then that long strategy is gone out the window. And of course, just to remind everybody, a couple of these guys will only do the 1 lap and go back in. So they're not going to really push that hard, because that's the tyres we need to start the race on, as Jonathan said earlier. So they will be a little bit cautious, but still try to give it as much as possible. They still have enough of a tyre left to go a couple of laps before they have to stop. So the real stuff is still coming.
Tried to go over the line and he sets a 145.4. It's not going to be good enough for the top 10.
Lost some time in the second and third sector after having that good first sector.
Problem is here, you either come in, throw on a set of softs, or you try and have another lap. If you do have that other lap, that's when the problem with the tyres comes in. Okay, he can obviously hear us, because he's opening and closing his DRS. Say, I'm done, I suppose. Or there is something very wrong with that DRS.
I guess Noah Raider is over F1 2019. She responded to Muna's question of earlier. Said he deleted the game by accident. So somebody already ready for 2020.
So I'm sure we will see a return in F1 2020 for him. I've seen many drivers feel the same when crossing over from one game to the other. They've pretty much had enough. So goes to the final chicane, enters the main straight now. See what he can do. He's on a set of soft. Goes over the line.
Gas speed went second, 144.0. Wow, not much. Not much between him and Mackett, but of course this is just to make sure they get it through to the next session and not take too much life out of those tyres. So he'll just cruise back to the pits, because that is enough to make it through to the next session.
Right, Gavin will just cruise back to the pits, nose those tyres back to the pit lane. Then that means no one in your top 10 is currently out on track. Only man out on track right now is Strider. He's on his way into the pit.
Correct.
You also have Barry He's in 12th, Duxter in 14th, both on outlaps on softs. So having another
to try to
attempt
get
at
out
it.
of a drop zone.
Speaking from a personal experience, I was a driver in round 1
Was
of
just
this
about to
very
ask you.
event, and I didn't make Q3. I qualified 11th, and the gap between me and pole position, it was 4/10 of a second. So
That's how close it is with the pace that these guys have. Because this is
we have a repeat
really
of
fast
that,
class, guys.
we have a repeat of that.
Force
I think
done,
even
Vino
the guys
done.
there in 8, 9 and 10, they
Gonna start see the retirements coming in now as the guys are done with the session, waiting for the next session to start.
Barry's now, he's starting a fast lap. He heads up a Rouge, critical part of the racetrack. Looks pretty comfortable through a Rouge, but he's got a decent car setup underneath him. Quick onto DRS, so he's obviously giving it everything in this lap. He heads into that chicane. Descending sector 1. He's going to want to improve. He's going to need to find at least half a second if he's going to improve, and he's backed out. He's backed out of it completely. So I wonder if he's just going to try and get around in the next 1 minute 40 seconds and have one more go at it. Let's have a look if anyone else is on track. Ethan Royan, he's on an out lap. A long lap this, so he'll be desperate to get back to that checkered flag. Get over the line before the session ends so you can have another go at it. I don't know if he will have another go at it. Really all depends on what the guys outside the top 10 are doing. Probably just out there in case. In 8. Looks pretty comfortable. Unless everyone in that bottom 4 qualifies for half a second.
Duxter reminds a lot of the old McLaren livery. In the time of Senna, that white and red.
That's right, the McLaren livery. Also got that impression when I saw the car once or twice. First thing that came to mind. It's a famous livery in F1 for a long time, as well as Indy. I think Penske ran a very similar livery. It was just a white car with Marlboro livery, and lots of people thought those teams were in fact related to each other.
But nowadays it's obviously McLaren's renowned for the orange, but it's actually not a real new color scheme for McLaren. There's actually been times before that you saw orange on their cars.
No, definitely. The red and white and the silver, and the colors changed generally because of the sponsorships rather than.
Correct.
And
but
now
it's not
with
the
them
first
having,
time they had orange on a car.
Now with them having lack of sponsorship, they obviously threw their preferred color on the car.
There we go, Duxter 143.7, leaving it till the last possible moment. But he is through into Q3, so that puts Boinkies out. Connie Young is also out. Just waiting for Barry's to come through. He and Strider, sir. Those are the 2 guys still out on track. Oh, Barry's for a moment looked like he's going wide. But that could be a little bit of lag as well.
There. I don't know if that was a bit of lag. I joined Barry's and I saw him on the gravel, then I saw him back on track.
Same here.
So,
that it was lag. That was definitely lag because purple second sector.
Hope those issues won't translate into the race. The car looks a little bit unstable to me.
So that can be
in terms of connection. He's going around the final chicane. Let's see if he can squeeze himself into Q1. Currently 13th. He's going to have to find a whole lot of time.
No, only 11, so enough. He's also out.
He has not done enough.
Just waiting for Strider, so he's the last person.
Barry's needed 7 thousandths of a second there. That would have 7 thousandths of a second would have made a difference. Would have sent him into Q3. Strider not having the ideal exit, or that was lag, I'm not sure.
He's not going to improve either. So that means Barry, Strider, Connie Young, they out, and Boinkies. Those are the guys that you eliminated from the session. Divan, the last of the surviving guys, he's intense, so he will make it through to the next round. You can take it away here for us.
Top 10. There's your Q3, your final shootout. It's going to be Duxter. He got a 143.7. Mackett in second. Gavpig in third. I'm Alonso fourth. Fifth. Zardi 44.6. Pino for real 7th. Nizmax, he's in 8th. Lee van Roy in 9th. And then Devon in 10th. The 4 cars that did not make it through. Barry's just losing out by 7 thousandths of a second. I know how that feels. Strider in 12th, Boinky's 13th, and then Connor Young 14th, not making the cut. But those 4 guys will obviously have free tyre choice at the start of the race. They don't have to start on a used set of tyres that they used in qualifying. Now we go into Q10. Q3, sorry, I'm reading tweets while I'm commentating, and you shouldn't do that because yeah, what you read comes out your mouth. So there we go, there's your final 10.
Sounds like a lubricant
Q3,
spray.
just your shortest session out of the 3, just 12 minutes. You really want to get out there, set your first lap time, and if need be, your second and your third. It's going to be a bit difficult to do that in Belgium. Obviously the track is much longer than your average race circuit. Your average race circuit is between 3 and 4 kilometers. Belgium is 7 kilometers, and the time in the qualifying session doesn't increase to accommodate that extra time the cars spend on track. So you've got less time to get out there, get back in, throw on a new set of tires, and do it all over. I think in Belgium, 12 minutes, you might only get 2 runs here. Want to make the most of it. That's why we're seeing a very busy racetrack. 8 cars come out of the pits all together in formation. And we hope the guys can find some space on the racetrack and not all mess up each other's lap times.
Okay, I'm just going to ask a quick question there to my co-commentator, Vino. Which league is Vino representing? Because I know he drives in more than one.
I will confirm that for you. Short. Tell you now. I've got it on email. Let me just. I need to have a look at the emails.
Of course, there is.
Vino for real is driving for midweek racing along with Mackett, Quinton, Duxter, and Connor Young.
Okay.
That is your midweek racing.
And Nismax?
Nismax is racing for SAA.
Oh, of course, he's also at TNB and commentator there at Midweek Racing, of course. So, yeah, as I say, a couple of these guys are actually in more than one of those leagues. But tonight they're just representing that league. Of course,
some
as
of
I
them
said,
may be representing a league and partake in 3 of these leagues. So, don't know anyone who partakes in all 4.
I'm not sure about 4, but I know there's like 3 because someone like a Boinky, so a Friday night for 100%, when you have a Monday 50%, and when you have a Tuesday 50%.
If you'll just have a look here at Lee van Rooyen.
Yep, coming around now.
I'm not sure if that's his teammate. I presume it is his teammate. The
cars.
Same livery, going very slowly. Both of them.
They use the same color. That is why I say I think they as a league, if I can, actually chose a color scheme just to show they, of course, they supporting the same league. So nice gesture there.
Not necessarily keeping an identical design, but keeping to the same colors, just to let everyone know what team you're representing.
Waar was hij? Waar is het uitgecrashed, boykie?
Confirmation from Devon there in the comment section that Vino for real is racing for midweek racing. Yes. That was correct.
Just have to ask, especially with those guys driving in more than one league, because they can represent any one of those leagues that they're in.
No lap times just yet. Nismax has now come
out.
As you say, there we go.
144.
144.0. Obviously, we've seen lap times quicker than that in Q1 and Q2. So I don't know
as you say, it 143 won by Mackett. There we go, low 143s. 142 is coming.
Quickest we've seen all night, the 1:43.1, and that's just your second lap time of Q3. Surely we will see 1:42s before this is over. Will we see a 1:42.5? Well, I don't know. Now Force goes down to third as RMY Alonso takes up second place. Zardi now goes fourth. Lap times coming in. Duxter now fifth. Your top five have set lap times.
Very slow lap. Obviously,
we ride with
something might have happened.
Royan. He now goes over the line. It's only good enough for sixth place at the moment, and it's not a slow lap time at all. It's a 1:44.5, but considering the closeness in times, let's have a look. Where is Gavin? Gavin's going to go over the line any minute, any second. He goes third. It's a 1:43.8, and well, you had told me a 1:43.8 would be 7/10 off. Maybe it's a good thing I'm not partaking, because I don't think I'd be here in Q3. One of the oldest racetracks on the F1 calendar.
Wow, look at that time between Emil Alonso and Gav Peak. Wow.
Absolutely nothing in it.
Yo.
Just wow, that is 1/100th of a second. Yes.
Nope, nothing said about that. Oh, Devon just got the back end of that as Gav Peak coming through there. Devon retires, the front wheel gone.
Devon becomes the first retirement we see in Q3. Should be a shootout. Should be they trying to get as far up the grid as they can. He's now at risk of starting in 10th place. If everybody's able to improve on their initial lap times, obviously he cannot go out again. While Alonso on his way into the pits.
Yeah, of course. Second round, yeah. Fuel, fresh rubber, and then go out again. Of course, Devon asking me what happened to Wazi. Of course, Devon, if you looked at where Gaffey came through as Devon retired, that's exactly where Wazi retired. Exact same place.
That was back in Q3, so he took no part in Q2. He will be starting at the back of the grid, 19th, if the game plays out the way it should. But now I think we'll see a whole flurry of cars coming into
just
the
over
pits
5 minutes, definitely the case.
Shortly thereafter. Not a lot of time left to get around this Belgian track. You don't want to waste too much time in the pits. Nesmax will go over the line now. He's set that 1:44.4. You see now, I'll bring up some information on your screen. Trying to go quicker. You'll see here in the DRS zone, no, he doesn't activate DRS. He's not trying to go faster. He's going to get those tyres back to the pits so he can get rid of them. Put on a fresh set. And then the very final tweaking. This is when you see they really give everything. If you were running maybe a lap too much fuel, this is when they take that extra lap out. The final run. Give it absolutely everything over a one lap. The 7-kilometer circuit, longest circuit in F1. So difficult to stitch a perfect lap together when you're doing it over the distance of 7 kilometers versus a normal track. And these times are yet still so close. Great to see. Gonna have an exciting 3.5 minutes. Will we see any changes at the top? Will we see a 1:42? Or was that 1:43.1?
Lee van Rooyen coming in. And surely Nesmax will follow as well. Out on track is Dino, but surely he will also come in.
Dino for real, he's in sector 3. I'm not sure if this is an out lap.
No, I believe he's going to come into the pits. Yep, indeed. All of them are into the pits, changing those tyres to the final tweak as you said.
Coming out of the pits, I'm Alonso in third place, Gavin in fourth.
Gavin is out as well, he's just ahead of Emil Alonso on the same piece of part of a track.
Sadi 44 in 7th and Duxter in 10th, all out on the track. 4 cars out on track, 5 cars in the pits, 1 car retired. That is your Q3 as it stands, just under 3 minutes remaining. To the final shootout. If you were sandbagging by hiding that last lap of fuel, this is when we find out. Let's have a look. Vino for real. He is in the pits, currently second fastest with a 1:43.4. The provisional pole sitter Mackett also in the pits with a 1:43.1. As I say that, his car is just flashed to outlap. So Mackett is out of circuit.
On the way, yes.
Let's have a look. Zardi currently 7th. Zardi 44, I presume a Lewis Hamilton fan, or that just happens to be the number next to his name. Currently in 7th, 1:44.2.
The livery color scheme in 44. But yeah, the car number is not 44.
Turquoise, a lot of silver. At least there isn't a 44 there on the car.
Where's old Robert now?
Gavin 4th. I'm Y Alonso 3rd. Vino for real 2nd. Mackett is still 1st, and we're now heading into those final shootouts. Gavin, he goes over the line to start what will probably be his final fast lap. Just 1.5 minutes remaining. So when he gets around, this will be his final attempt. Won't get one after this. I'm Y Alonso just down the road from him. Go over the line first.
Yeah.
Mackett and Vino also out on outlaps. So we'll hear from them a little later. Force also out on an outlap. So activity all throughout the top 5. Divan retired currently in 6th. He's actually moved down to 7th now.
Dukester 1:43.3. And Dukester and Mackett has done this before with Midpig Racing during the course of the season which now recently ended. These two were, and just the very last race as well, it was the same case. These guys trading fastest lap for pole. So these two know each other. They used to battling each other till the last possible moment. So I think we're in for interesting times. Vino's out. Dukester running off track here, so he's not going to go fast, and he's not going to make it around to do another lap. So Dukester provisionally 2nd with 20 seconds to go.
So guys, thank you very much. We're up to 46 live viewers and we're still in the qualifying session. The stream is doing fantastically well. Thank you for everybody who's taking part in the comments.
One of the bigger favourites amongst the fans. Nesmax.
We're doing spectacularly well. Do you know that we are broadcasting at the exact same time as the... I shouldn't even probably tell you. I'll tell you after the race. But we're broadcasting at exactly the same time as, and the fact that we got 50 viewers, I think we're doing fantastic.
Emi Alonso will finish in 6th. He's over the start-finish line. Mackett comes around now. He's got a car in front. Looks like that might be one of his... Yeah, that is actually Dukester. Dukester moving over.
He's still pushing here in sector 3. Did that maybe help with a bit of slipstream? Who knows?
No, he slows down. Yeah, he slowed down.
And that's that. There he goes over that curve. Decides to dive into the pits at the last second.
Dukester also in the pits. Gaffbeek. No, he's invalidated lap. Gaffbeek is not going to improve. Can Vino improve and maybe catch one of those guys out? Vino coming around the bus stop now.
He can find a single tent that could put him on the front row. We'll soon find out. Doesn't activate DRS over the line.
Zardi's in, he stays in 5th.
He didn't activate DRS. I think the writing was on the wall.
Nesmax stays 7th. So no, that's pretty much it. No changes there. So it's Mackett, Dukester, Gaffbeek, Vino, Zardi, Emi Alonso, Vos, Nesmax, Divan and Lee van Rooyen. That's pretty much it. It's all done. Just waiting there for Gaffbeek to retire. Then that session will be over. And then it's what everybody's been waiting for, the race itself.
see some of the guys in the chat talking about are you racing today? And I'm just a spectator. Anybody who wants to get involved in the race of pace, there will obviously be a round 3. That round 3, as far as I know, is probably going to come on the new game and could very well be at one of the new circuits. So round 3 is on the way. If you want to take part in the race of pace, round 3, the only way to do it is to enter one of these 4 leagues and obviously join a community that works for you. But Mondays, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Not sure about the Full Throttle guys, but of course...
Obviously, let's just go through the top 10 one final time. Obviously, Mac at first, Dux at second, Gavpig in third. Then that's your top 3. Vino 4th, Sardi in 5th, Imai Alonso 6th, Frost in 7th, Nitmax 8th, Devon in 9th, and then Van Rooyen coming up in 10th place. Lee Van Rooyen. Yeah, you can say it like an American, Van Rooyen. I like it.
Livia. Of course.
Good luck to all the drivers, and a special shout out to Nismax
for organising
this race.
I agree with that, definitely. Nismax making this happen, putting all of us together, getting the representation out here from all the leagues.
Bringing all the fastest races together, putting them at one venue on one night, special night, and we'll have to see what awaits. So I hope this is not going to be my camera angle for the start of the race, because quite frankly it's shocking. I can see 1st, 3rd and 5th, a piece of 5th. So I can see 2 cars on track right now. So,
don't worry, we'll see now.
So I'm hoping this is not the
there we go, looks like
the
everybody...
view you will get at the start of the race. There we go.
The guys did
one light.
That's obviously just for formation lap.
Here we go. Formation lap, you want to get around here. Use the time to warm up your tires, warm up the brakes. We'll see.
Jana, I've got a request for you, but before I do, I see Yvette is not very talkative tonight. Only a second comment. Don't want to talk to us tonight, but I see Yvette, Devon's got a question. He's been burning to ask you for a while. He's waiting for that unbelievable commentary of yours.
Oh no, I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Well, obviously we're on the formation lap. It's going to be a 22 lap race. Obviously 50%. If you're running 100%, would be a 44 lap race.
And it's exactly that.
Least amount of laps on the F1 calendar, with it being the longest racetrack. Obviously all Grand Prix are around about 300 kilometers, regardless of the size of the race. So just 44 laps to get that 300 kilometer average here in Belgium. Trying racetrack, has its very fast parts of the circuit, has its very tight parts of the circuit. If your car's not set up correctly, it can become a handful.
Okay, my commentator, just go away to Mr. RJDB. Just look at his livery tonight.
Let's have a look.
Reminds of a certain jelly bean car.
A what?
The jelly bean cars, I called it there, TNB.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the blue and the red and they actually look very much like the W Series Formula 3 cars, because they can basically read throughout the year.
But if you remember Flaka last season already at TNB used exactly the same livery, just a different color scheme.
I think it was that livery with a lot of green.
Yeah, green, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
And I called it. That's why I called it the yellow, the jelly bean car. Reminds of a packet of jelly beans.
We didn't get the crazy prediction of a 142.5. But we did have a rather close qualifying session and a close top 10 shootout, just as we expected. Repeat of round 1.
Just waiting for everybody to line up. Here we go. Final cars in the bus stop now.
Now we're arriving on that straight to start the race. Before we get going, we've got 47 viewers on the chat. Thanks to everybody. Hit that like button. We're about to get underway. Just waiting for the lights. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're underway. Macca gets a good start. As he heads off into turn 1. Let's keep an eye here on turn 1.
Oh, Gappig with a dive on the inside. Oh, Gappig with a dive bomb there. Very dirty move there and actually affecting a couple of guys there.
Very, very late on the break. See more action happening. A little bit. I think that was Zardi 44 making contact with the barrier briefly. He still keeps up with the rest of the cars, so it doesn't look like too much damage.
And that
5-second
resulted
penalty.
in a time penalty for Vino, yeah. Gained the position on the yellow flag. Oh, now Force late on the brakes there.
Rejoining not too safely there. That could have ended in tears, but luckily everybody was around was able to get around Duxter. But pandemonium here in London of 22 here in Belgium. 3-second
already
time penalty. Multiple warnings for Force.
Now looks like it almost looked like contact on the outside, sending a car into the barriers.
Now Force running horribly wide here in sector 3. He's not even on the racetrack. Just battling to get that car back in a straight line. It's gonna have to come into the pits on lap 1, and that's when you regret having the safety car switched off. That's when the safety car can save you.
Yep.
When you have a really bad start to the race and safety car comes out within the first 10 laps and groups everybody together.
Putting Divan under pressure. You would like to get past here, you want to get behind after the peak. Mac is going to have to look on the outside. Oh, Nismax retires.
Ooh, and that's a huge incident. Dirk is out. I think Eugene is out. I think Eugene made contact with the frickin' car. So Dirk's car came to a standstill around pretty much a blind corner. Eugene came around that corner and actually hit Nismax's car up into the air 2 or 3 times, spinning it.
Ooh, Frida's a big moment as well.
So at the end of lap 2, we have lost 3 drivers, 3 big names: Eugene 44, Duxter 14, Nismax 7. The organizer of this race.
Alonso passed. He's in third now. Alonso chasing after Mackett. Mackett actually got past Divan as that incident happened, that crash. Strider's are disqualified now. Gaffpeak actually being chased now by Mackett. Of course, he got caught off guard with that dive bomb on the inside, braking late from a long way back. But Mackett obviously making his way back to the front. But then, as we said, Strider's disqualified.
Mackett's obviously experienced driver. He's a quick driver. He'll just get his head down and work on catching that green car in front of him over the next couple of laps. That turn 1 incident with the green car in picture was well, he came from far back. But I don't say anything more than that. But yeah, he did come from far back. It would have caught me off guard, but got him into the lead. Currently leads this race by 2.2 seconds.
Vino chasing Imi, and Vino's on the medium, so looking good for Vino as well.
Amoy Alonso makes up your top 3. He's being chased by Vino in 4th, Lee Van Rooyen in 5th, Connor Young in 6th, Twanky 7th, Springbok Gamer doing a great job. He's in 8th place, Divan he's in 9th, and then Quinton making up your top 10.
It looks like Springbok Gamer made an early stop, but still in 8th place. So good, even for early stop, he gained some good places now on the medium tyre, so he can push this a bit longer. So Lee is going to try to put Vino under pressure. He's on the softer tyre. At the same time, he needs to fend off Connor Young behind him, also on mediums. As it is 4 cars on mediums there in the top 8. Here we go, Connor making a move on Lee. But of course he added the DRS as well, much better drive.
With that pit stop that promotes Kimi. Kimi now goes up into 11th spot. So he's having a recovery drive of his own. Don't forget about him in this race.
Oh, and Boinki's left the session. Let's hope he can come back and connect and reclaim his vehicle.
As far as I
Gapik actually pulling away from Mackett.
Off, so that car will remain on circuit, and let's hope nobody has too many problems trying to get around it. Next car that should come up on Boinkies, that is Springbok Gamer. He's 4 seconds down the road from that car. He's in 8th place, Quinton in 9th, and Force has moved himself into the top 10 again.
Actually, Boinkies was playing Milkman tonight.
Obviously no points on for tonight. Obviously a one-off event, really about the bragging rights, really about getting the South African F1 community together on one night. No points on offer, but if it was, Force has worked his way back into the points after not the best start. Kimi just behind him obviously had a lot of bad luck in qualifying, and that start from the back.
And also had to stop early.
That on lap 4.
Also stop early.
He told him, yeah, you'll be halfway through the field by lap 4. I think he'd be happy with that.
From 13th to 16th, all on hard tyres.
Gonna be interesting. Obviously those were all the drivers that had their incidents very early on in the race, and now they've gone on, thrown on a set of hard tyres, and are probably hoping to take it as close to the end as possible, if not the end. The 20 odd laps they would have to do. Dirk commenting there in the comment section. Thanks for all the support, everyone. Thanks Dirk for organising this. This was quite impressive. Before we even got the stream going, I believe we had 15 viewers on the stream.
Oh, Gapik retires. Gapik's out, Mackett back into first. Sorry for that, but yeah, big moment there, Gapik out.
Not a problem at all. One of the faster drivers on the day, one of the favourites for the day. Like I said, he was on pole position last time TNB visited the circuit a few weeks ago. He will have a repeat of the result he had in that race, and that was a DNF.
Not the same corner, but still, and if that one was on the first lap, this one's on the 4th lap, so still early in the race, so nonetheless, but yeah, the bad luck for him at this track continues. Good qualifying, but can't bring it together in the race, unfortunately.
Up to 5 retirements now.
Maybe some karma as well involved there.
On lap 5. Getting a bit of a bump there between Lee Van Rooyen and Springbok Gamer.
Boinkies finally rejoined. Can he reclaim his vehicle though? Just as Springbok Gamer is actually approaching to try and make a move.
There we go. He's
on the milk wagon, and there we go. Springbok Gamer's through.
He does. Gets it done. Gets it done, and that's promoted Springbok Gamer to 6th place. In this race of pace event. He's doing a fantastic job with names around him that aren't having things as easy as they'd like. That's the problem that comes with a challenging circuit like Belgium. It's not all about practicing and you'll get it right.
Look at that cat. Look at comments.
Somebody's just appeared in the comment section.
Yeah, that cat, that weird cat.
This is the founder of TNB Racing, not Maverick 96. Also known on Twitter as Marquez Fangirl. He has joined the comment section. I'd love to see you back on track for F1 2020, obviously on Friday nights. If you can, if you've got more Friday nights at your disposal, we definitely
yellow flag again. Oh, there we go. There we go. And not Maverick asked the question. Not Maverick. That one is specifically for you. We had a couple of retirements. You asked how many victims of Eau Rouge. Where's our first victim of Eau Rouge? You asked it, you got it.
Down to just 14 runners now. We saw, I can't comment too much on midweek racing. I didn't see the Belgium event, racing and SAA. But having taken part in the Belgium race here for TNB, I know we had a lot of retirements. We had a lot of safety cars, and most of those retirements were due to Eau Rouge. We've had Rob has obviously DNF, DNF'd and now left the session.
Correct.
So he's also had enough. 6 drivers retire, 14 remain. And we've only done 6 laps, folks. It's going to be a tough one.
Sup, Maverick. Or the Marquez Fangirl, as he's also known as, Jonathan said.
So, Marquez Fangirl. I secretly love Honda. And all of these are according to the Jeff bot. So,
yeah, let's...
I have no idea who programs the bot, but well, let's just go with he comes up with that himself. AI is the thing, you know. So Springbok Gamer still in 6th place.
Yes.
He's doing a fantastic job of
Almost
holding things together, and he's actually worked a bit of a gap between him and Boinkies. That
yes.
gap just under 2 seconds, so he'll be outside of DRS range. Currently in 4th, Connor Young. And then your top 3, they've remained that way pretty much since the DNF of Gavpig. The top 3 of Vino in 3rd, Amway Alonso 2nd, and Mackett still leads the way by just a touch over 3 seconds.
Of course, looking at Springbok Gamer there, if we look at the TNB league that has now finished, the most consistent driver, looking at, of course, finishing races, getting points, most consistent was actually Springbok Gamer, and I see Dukester now also decided that okay, he's not going to watch any further. Of course, retired a few laps ago, so he finally left the session.
It's the 14 cars from the 20 that started, obviously started with a full lobby, as many cars as we could possibly get in here. We've lost 6 of them already.
Thanks, Zeta. Zeta Racing just reporting a bit of an echo there on your side. Springbok Gamer doing a good job, but Boinky is back in control of his car because the gap actually is shrinking, and is shrinking quite fast. The Milk Van is coming back. Of course, Milk Van, no surprise, no guess, no price for guessing right why. Because even from that shot you can see why I call it the Milk Van. Of course, that reminds me of Stuart Ford's. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's...
They were
so
also
what? Of, the Stuart Fords, obviously that was the team that just prior to Jaguar, and that actually became Red Bull.
Yeah, as we know it today. Correct.
Yeah, Stuart Ford actually became Red Bull. Obviously Stuart Ford doing fantastic with not a full factory budget. They were just getting Stuart was the owner of that team, and he was simply getting basically an allowance from Ford, a little
and
bit
that's
of help
pretty
on
much
the
where
side.
Barrichello was involved actually before Ferrari.
And then with them doing so well, Ford decided to, rather than have a small part in F1, they decided to rebrand the whole car Jaguar and take over the team as a brand. Didn't work out that well, and that team became Red Bull.
Ooh,
That's why that's also the last driver to drive a Red Bull, besides David Coulthard, of course. The last driver to drive a Red Bull besides David Coulthard that was not contracted to the Red Bull Academy program. It was Mark Webber, because he came from Jaguar.
That's it.
Every other Red Bull driver has originated from Toro Rosso at some stage in their career. We'll see if you can just give me some confirmation there on the, just let me know there, ZA Racing 76, if you can still hear a big echo. Unfortunately, if you can still hear a big echo, there's not a lot I can do. Don't know what the problem may be. Here we go. For the time being, that top 3 remains the same. The gaps have even remained the same to a certain extent. Nobody really running away. Mackett, that gap was 3.5 seconds when I last had a look at it 2 laps ago. It's now 3.8. So not making big strides right in the beginning. Just bring up some info on the screen.
Kiwi running in 10th now, followed by Barry's.
See who's on what tyre.
See T1 of course in 12, Tina behind, and Zardi 27 seconds off, but we still got 2 cars beyond the hard tyres. Zardi made a stop, he's back in the mediums. Really not liking the hards. Also not my favourite tyre, to be honest. We'd also rather go on mediums.
That tyre may take you to the end of the race, but
the front runners have started pitting. So we got Emi who pitted, so the front runners should follow soon, when the likes of Mackett and Lee van Rooyen, which is the only guy still on softs, the rest on mediums. So this is where that long strategy can start coming into play.
We're on lap 9 of 22. In a couple of laps we will reach halfway distance in this race. Mackett's done a great job up until now. Still leads. Had a bit of a scare in turn 1 with a certain green car. That car has since retired after his illustrious move for the lead, led the race.
You know the saying about karma, ne?
Short time.
I'll call it that. That's what happened.
Something that we have said in league racing, I think ever since I ever joined T&B 3 years ago, was that you do not win a race in turn 1.
No, you don't.
And if you're doing something stupid in turn 1, that something stupid is more likely to end your race than to win you a race.
And
because there's a lot more you have to do after turn 1, so getting into the lead in turn 1, it may not be as important as you think. Sometimes it's
just
better
make it
to
through turn 1.
Keep your head down, stay in your position, wait for things to settle down, and then get yourself into the race.
And you actually said it, and I must say my new fellow commentator at TNB actually also caught on to that. And every race just before we start, he actually reminds the spectators about that exact same thing. You can win the race only on the last lap by being there. You cannot win the race, of course, in the first corner, but you sure as hell can lose it. So he caught on, that is his saying before every race now. And that is as it is, it's true, and it was even said by commentators out there, the likes of Martin Brundle, Murray Walker, those guys all said it, and it still stays true. You can't win the race in the first corner. You need to survive that first corner, because all 20 cars are going to arrive at that corner.
And absolutely. How's my voice, Jan? Can you still hear me?
Okay, you're a bit softer now, but yeah, I can hear you.
What is it, like a lot bad soft?
No, I just now hear a lot of background noise. And I can actually hear myself as well sometimes.
See what I can do.
Of course, just trying something differently there also. Just as feedback on that echo, of course. That is why my co-commentator's sound did change now. He's just now actively trying to tweak it and see if he can improve the quality of the sound. Vino now leading as Mackett made the stop. Mackett on fresh mediums, only down to 3rd. So he didn't lose much time, because in essence he's only like 12 seconds behind Vino, 12-13 seconds, and he's on the fresher rubber. So now he's going to be the one to go long.
Now he's in a strong position with 12 laps to go. Again, can't say thank you enough to everybody on the stream. We are up to 125 comments with just under half the race, well, just over half the race to go. Thank you to everybody who is contributing towards this season. If you're not driving and you're just part of the lobby and you're just commenting, well, thank you very much for being here. And don't forget to hit the likes button. One stage we had almost 50 viewers. There's only 14 likes there, so a lot of people guilty of giving that a skip.
Forgetting to like it, yeah. And of course, as my co-commentator said earlier tonight, the only way to get into the race of pace, to be able to race, to qualify for it, you actually need to be part of one of those 4 leagues that is represented here tonight. And of course, it involves Monday, So, well, there's one league we do on Monday, one do on Tuesday, one on Friday. Not sure about the fourth. Mainly 50% race distance, of course, with a Friday night one doing 100% with full qualifying, pretty much mimicking the real thing. So if you would be interested and you want to give it a try, feel free to do the relevant to join, and of course contact us. Several of our guys obviously are on social media, Twitter, etc., and some of the guys obviously on Discord as well. You can join by just, you know, visiting them there and follow the relevant links. Email Alonso running
We are now on lap 11 of
Mac
22.
is on a move. 147.3 on those fresh mediums. And the gap is coming down. He's chasing down Connie Young at the same time, which means he also makes the gap smaller to him and Vino, the current race leader. So it's just looking better and better for Mackett. Gav saying Weber's track is his Achilles heel. Gav, sorry to say it, but you my Achilles heel.
Had an interesting start to the race, an aggressive start to the race. And we know he's got pace here. We've seen pace from him here in the past. Just unfortunately, like I say, it is a challenging race circuit, and if you're going to retire, and you retire at this track, at least you've got an excuse to say, well, it's Belgium.
Especially if it's our route,
it's not exactly easy.
No, definitely. It's one. Yeah, it's fast. It's lots of straight. It's the longest, but it's one of those tracks. You know what? You tend to get too lackadaisy. But there's actually, and yeah, you focus on our routes. But as we saw tonight, it's not just our route. You can actually lose it at any other corner, and sometimes not even at any fault of your own. Of course, we saw at the championship decider race last season in TNB what can actually happen at no fault of your own.
Conor Young, currently in third, he's now dived into the first.
So did Vino, so Mackett is back in the lead.
This will promote a couple of drivers. Amar Alonso, he goes up into second, Mackett goes up into the lead. Conor Young, he's in third, still in the pit
coming
though.
Through now.
Vino
is just at the end of exit. Yeah, he's exiting Conor as well, and there comes Lee around just now, so he's still in fifth. Conor and Vino managed to get out again in front of Lee. They will now have a softer tyre.
If I look at those times, I think Mackett definitely benefited in the pit stops. Wasn't really able to stretch that gap as much as he'd like, but after the pits, it's now 5 seconds.
And it was less than 4 seconds when he stopped.
That gap's definitely bigger as a result of the pit stops. Second place just losing out a little bit. Now
9 laps to go after this. Only 9 laps to go after this lap.
I think for everyone out on track, it's pretty much a one-stop strategy unless a bunch of things went wrong for you. So I think everyone we see out on track is, if things go according to plan, on their final run. Nobody has intentions of returning to the pit lane.
Oh, and Force is out. Force retires. Looks like it's around about at the first corner.
That is the end of Force.
But it looks like AI somehow took control of that car.
The 13 runners now remaining.
And you with Mackett, see if we can pick up proceeding. Yep, Force has left the session.
Didn't hang around too long, obviously not too
impressed
with proceedings.
Oh, what a bad place for it to be, coming down into a route. But I'm not sure how that car ended up there, because the yellow flag was already there in the first corner.
Strange scenario, obviously. That would be a situation that would have triggered a safety car had we had safety car on this evening. So it's probably a good thing if you're enjoying racing. On the other hand, a safety car could have just brought everybody really nice together for a final 3-lap shootout. I think, as far as I understand it, in future iterations of the Race of Pace, safety car will be switched on. It was switched off for this race in particular because it is Belgium. It's a 7-kilometer long circuit, and you didn't want to do half the distance behind the safety car.
Exactly. We've seen it earlier this season.
So we didn't want a repeat of that. So basically weather got switched to clear and uncomplicated, and we also got rid of the safety car so that it wouldn't play havoc with our results.
Of course, we saw earlier here the season at TNB, especially with this specific track. I mean, remind me if I'm, just correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like 4 or 5 safety cars. And then actually a couple of races later at Canada, we actually saw a safety car come out for no incident on track, which the only logic explanation was wet weather, which is obviously
I understand
reasons like that why it's dry and why safety cars switched off.
I understand from the game development side of things, it must be really difficult to know like when a safety car should be activated and when not, and if you want that sort of accuracy. But unfortunately, I think at the moment it's a little too. I have personally brought out virtual safety cars and full safety cars from a spin, and then taken part in that safety. And then taken part in that safety car that I caused, because I have no damage. So, yeah, I have actually raced or driven behind the safety car for 3 laps, knowing that I brought it out in the first place from a spin. So that is a little bit too sensitive. Lap 15 of 22, Mackett still leads that gap now 5.8 seconds, growing a little bit over time. Both your leaders, first and second, they're on a set of mediums. Different story for the guys in 3rd and 4th. Guys in 3rd and 4th, that's Connor Young and Vino for real. They're both on a set of softs, and those softs are 2 laps old. So if they're going to push, now is the time. They're a little bit
because those softs only last that long.
Further behind the leader than they'd like to. I think that comes up to
we got a yellow flag again.
9 seconds behind the leader with 7 laps remaining. Don't think the tyres have quite that much in them. Mackett leads.
Yeah, soft tyres normally about 3 or 4 laps peak.
As well, also joining TNB. That is correct, am I not? I think I heard something like that.
So can you just repeat, because you broke up there a bit on my side, sorry.
So yeah, Mackett, your leader, I believe he's also interested in joining TNB.
Correct, obviously.
So
correct.
That is a name you should get familiar with.
Representing Midweek Racing, of course, in this one. He's been there this season. But Mackett did show interest, and actually, as it is, it was confirmed. He will also be racing for TNB next season. Of course, it doesn't mean that he's leaving Midweek Racing. As I said earlier at the start, a couple of these guys race in more than one league. The reason why he wants to join TNB is because of 100% race distance. He, of course, is used to the 50%. He wants to come try his hand at for 100%. Which is more like an endurance, which is exactly why, that's his reason for wanting to do it. So, welcome, Mackett.
For everybody else, that's bad news. Gonna have to step up your game. Obviously, a quick driver coming into TNB. We already have a couple of quick drivers of our own, but when you get the opportunity to add another, why not? This creates competition. Competition getting better every single time we go out there. And that's what we want to see on track.
Barry's picking up a penalty. Of course, a couple of these guys are fast, clean, and that's a key thing, being clean and respecting each other, especially when you go wheel to wheel.
Obviously, we're not going to see how bad the penalties could have been, because just under half the field has retired.
Correct.
A lot of those DNF cars would have had quite a stack of penalties next to their name already, so we won't get to see any of those penalties. I think we'll just get a DNF on the screen. We won't see how bad it was, but even Foss getting some penalties at the start of the race. I think he got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings on lap 1. Not the penalty start he would have wanted anyway. Not long to go. 5 laps to go. Top 3. Mackett, Amway Alonso and Connor Young.
Of course, that gap just opened up more. It's now pretty much half a second gain there by Mackett. So he's really in the groove. Just 5 laps to go after this lap. So it's just about keeping his, keeping his head on the shoulders, keep calm. And he's been doing that, and in the process actually gaining time as well. Connor Young took out some time there from Emil Alonso, but not much. So it can be that those tyres are actually past its prime time. And that means that Emil Alonso can also be pretty good in front there. Just keep it as it is. And if I'm not mistaken, both of them actually did pick up some penalties. So I think they're pretty much even on penalties, second and third place. Quinton, of course, very good fight back. Of course, starting way at the back. Also early stop, 15 lap old mediums now running in 6th at the moment. Not Kimi, also with a huge comeback, starting at the back of the grid. Currently running on in 7th place on those fresh softs, by 24 seconds behind Quinton. And I think Quinton might have to stop unless he's going to really push these tyres to the end, because that's the longest stint on the mediums we saw tonight.
Four laps to go, lap 18 of 22. Back at 6.5 seconds, that's the gap at the front. Connor Young is holding on to 3rd place for now. Vino Ferreal is 1.5 seconds down the road from him. Not Kimi. Quickest lap. He's on a set of softs at the moment, and those softs are just 2 laps old. So I think he's probably going to throw in a few quick ones before now and the end of the race. Don't know if he'll be able to improve his position. 23 seconds adrift of Leaf and Roy, and they're in 6th place. Gonna have to take some sort of a mistake from people in front of him if he were to get into the top 6, but he's done a great job. Started from the back of the grid, retired in Q1.
Taking down, but there's not going to be enough laps for him to catch Lee, not at this pace. Nice to see Sarah Ann as well. Hello Sarah Ann. Yes, a lot of support being shown tonight for the guys. Always nice to see.
Goes over the line one more time. That's lap 19 of 22, 3 laps to go.
Vina now really getting on the back of Connor Young. He's within DRS. So if he stays like this, he will have DRS coming up the hill.
When we looked at that gap last, it was 1.5 seconds. It's now 9/10 of a second, which means Vino has come into DRS.
Yes.
He should get it now. DRS coming around this right-hander.
Yep.
Does he get it? Yes, he does. He opens it. He'll chase him down.
Back. Closing the gap, but just too far back.
9/10 of a second, but look at that, 7/10 of a second. So the DRS did give him another 2/10. Can he rope him in over the next 3 laps, force him into an error, and steal the podium at the end here? The race of pace. It's second ever running. Quinton in 5th. Springbok Gamer still having a fantastic run. Been in the top 10 throughout this race. Poinky's 9th, Devon in 10. And then outside the top 10, Barry, Tinahan and Zardi. Laps to go. Let's follow these two. The closest thing we have to a battle on track at the moment
is Vino and Conor Young.
It's a battle for the final podium step. By the way, in 2020, I don't know how many podiums we will see.
Vino will have the race again, no straight.
When F1 does get going again, now podium celebrations are going to be held on the grid.
Oh wow.
So that is going to be something to get used to. In front of an empty grandstand. So, interesting.
That's what's going to be on the grid, because pointless going all the way up and there's nobody to appreciate it.
Lewis would still tell that empty grandstand that it's the best. But
yeah, that's the best fans, you guys are great.
He's like, this is the best grandstand. There's no grandstand like this in F1 right now. I can imagine it now, I love it. Vino's still fourth, that gap just half a second, 4/10 of a second as I'm talking, so just coming down.
Conor Young lagging.
You'll want to get that close that gap to within 2, 3, 4/10, open up DRS and make the most of it. But if that car in front of him is lagging like I see it on my screen, that might just put him off.
Yes.
That might just make him think twice about going wheel to wheel.
Better drive out of that corner, got a little bit closer. They can just keep it like this, and then next time around use the DRS. But it just somehow at the back end of the last bit of a lap, Conor Young just seems to be able to get away from Vino, so even with the DRS he still keeps in front. So let's see what Vino can do this time, because it's closer. Just it's under 4/10 and he's gaining even more. He's gonna have a go outside. Coming side by side. Oh, and Conor Young with a bit of lag there, jumping all over the place again, but looks like Vino is through. Vino is through into bus stop on the outside. Oh, now Conor touches him. Conor drove into him and sent him spinning. Bit of a dirty move here.
That is very unfortunate to see towards the end stages of a race when a battle was really heating up. It's a bit of an anticlimax to see not so nice driving being the final result. But we'll see how all of that plays out. Obviously no stewards room for this race. This is a one-off event. And everybody just expected to drive to the best of their ability and respect their opponents around them. So no need for any stewards room. The penalties that are handed out by the game will be sufficient. As I say, that Devon gets another 3-second penalty. He's currently in 10th. He'll be hoping to hold on to that 10th with the penalties he has. Vino in 4th. Like I say, a bit anticlimactic. I thought
that should have been 3rd place.
Thought we were waiting for Vino to steal a podium position right at the end of the race, and unfortunately there was contact, and one of the drivers coming off way second best. Not what you want. Let's have a look. Where is your leader? Not a lot of time to go in this race. Lap 21 or 22, and as I say that, he starts his final lap.
Correct.
Here in Belgium. Round 2 of the race of pace. Obviously we will be back with round 3. No date on that just yet. But what makes these races so special is they don't happen every weekend. That's what makes them so special. We will be back obviously in F1 2020 as I understand, and might be doing Hanoi or Zandvoort, something different.
The respective leagues will rejoin anything from mid-July onwards, depending on the guys being able to make the transition, acquiring the new games, etc.
Race of Pace round 3 will probably take place towards the end of the first season on the new game, or maybe as early as if we decide to have a midway break and do something like this, but that's stuff that can be confirmed in the weeks ahead. For now, it's been a great race. Mackett has led practically from start to finish with a little bit of a speed bump there in the beginning. But he kept his head together, he chased Gavin down, got past him, regained the lead, and hasn't really made many more mistakes after that. He's in sector 3, not a long way to go.
Actually, the last couple of corners approaching the bus stop chicane now for the final time.
8.7 seconds is that gap between him and second place.
And here we go, Mackett coming around. Start finish line now, and there's your winner for Race of Pace round 2.
Very nicely done, congratulations to
Followed
Mackett.
by Emil Alonso. So the two boys from Midweek Racing actually taking the top honours there. Actually Midweek Racing 1, 2 and 3. Mackett, Emil Alonso and Connie Young.
Midweek Racing, really nicely done. Vino for real.
Also Midweek Racing represented tonight.
Also Midweek Racing. So,
Quentin
Midweek Racing.
Midweek Racing. So the top 5.
Oh, wow.
Midweek Racing really took the honours here. All 5 of the guys took the top 5 places.
Well, we're going to have to get Mackett to drive under the TNB name next time. Yeah, these TNB drivers that are driving under the names, it's just going to be unacceptable for the next round.
Yeah, sorry Vino.
We're going to have to get all of these blokes. If you've raced in TNB, you're getting a TNB badge. And
but nicely
we'll
done
take
by
the
the
credit
guys.
for it.
Lee
Springbok
came in
Gamer, as
6.
we say that.
But
Comes over
Kimmy
the
as
line
well.
in 8.
Kimmy, good fight back. Springbok Gamer also starting with towards the back, coming in 8th. So a couple of guys with good fight backs. Divan in the end ahead of Boinky, so Divan took those hard tyres and brought it back in 9th.
Those are your top 10. And then just outside the top 10, your 3 finishers in 11th, 12th and 13th. That will be Barry's, Tina Hen and Zadi 44.
Of Mackett will be very pleased. But so will actually Springbok Gamer. Nesmax, they will also be happy. Because those two are involved with admin and stuff from Midweek Racing. But at the end of the day, it's also to have fun and for these guys just to show their skills and pace against other guys. But I think they enjoyed it.
Okay, so there we go. That has been our broadcast of the Race of Pace round 2. I want to thank everybody who made this event happen. Primarily to Dirk, getting all the invites out, hosting the lobby, doing all of the posters and getting everybody together in the first place. All of the drivers, congratulations on your finish. Congratulations on qualifying. And we hope to see everybody back here when this event returns for a 3rd time. It's been a pleasure to commentate on here, and I'm sure the same for my co-commentator.
Definitely, always a pleasure, always nice seeing this.
We haven't been asked to do any driver interviews, so we won't be doing any driver interviews, we'll be calling it a day. Thank you everybody who took part in the race, and obviously congratulations to Mackett. I'm Y Alonso and Connor Young on that top 3, Midweek Racing on that incredible top 5. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, thank you for support. A good couple of views tonight. Always nice to see the support, and actually makes it just encouraging us to do this, but thank you. Till the next time, you guys stay safe. And we'll see you guys again when we resume the next race. Till then, cheerio.
Cheerio.